Well, I'm pleased to say that joining me here at The Hague is Yatsenyuk, who is the former Prime Minister of Ukraine. Very good to have you with us. Thank you for joining us here on BBC News. Already today, we have heard Mark Rutte and the Dutch Prime Minister forcefully talking about defending Ukraine and NATO needing to support Ukrainian troops and President Zelensky as well. Will that come as a relief that we still see Ukraine front and centre here, despite everything that's happening in the Middle East and the conversations being around what's happening in the Middle East?
You actually answered the question you raised. Frankly, I had very low expectations. But as of now, we can tell you for sure that we are okay with the final statements, and we are okay with the Ukraine, which is still in the spotlight of NATO member states.
So you feel it is enough in the spotlight?
Well, I feel that we are in the spotlight, and I do understand that all NATO member states clearly recognize the threat that Russia poses. But my gut feeling is that NATO needs to do more. And we expect to get more deliverables out of NATO because they invest into their own security. And it's crystal clear that the more you invest in your own security and the more you invest into Ukraine, the more security you're going to get.
What are the deliverables that you would like to see then?
Ammo, and ammo.
Right. There's a shortage of gunpowder at the moment, actually.
Absolutely. So, and we expect that Americans will jump on the Americans will be back on board, because as of now, there is no clarity on the side of the US administration whether this administration is ready to provide a security aid package for Ukraine. Because Ukraine is still getting a lot of ammo from our Western allies and from the United States. But this is the package that have been co-sponsored and passed by the previous administration. So I expect that my president to get along with Trump during this meeting, because we expect to have this meeting as soon as possible. And it's all about the actions that have to be taken by President Trump in order to support Ukraine and in order to support US security.
Is that exhausting for Ukrainians, having to wait and see what the mood is of President Trump, what he says from one day to the next when it comes to Ukraine, depending on who he's spoken to?
Frankly, we don't have another option. So the only option which is on the table is to ask, to convince, to talk, to debate, and to get what is needed for the security of Ukraine and for the security of the entire free world.
And President Trump is one thing, what he's saying, but what are the conversations that are happening on other levels? Are you getting reassuring words from America, at other diplomatic levels and military levels as well?
Look, we still get bipartisan support in the U.S. Senate. You've seen this secondary sanction bill that has been co-sponsored by 84 senators from both sides of the aisle. So I believe that we still have this real support among the American political establishment. But what they are waiting for the green light from the Oval Office. And I believe that Trump, he doesn't want to be outplayed by Putin. He doesn't want to be weak in the eyes of all dictators that are closely watching what kind of steps this administration is to undertake in order to show whether this administration is ready to fight for peace or no. On the flip side, yesterday Secretary General was very clear, saying that Ukraine is to get around 40 billion of military support. It's a staggering number, and mainly this kind of burden sharing right now rests on the shoulders of the European Union and Canada. So let me reiterate the message once again. We wait for the decision of the US administration to jump on this and to be more decisive in helping Ukraine. It is in the clear interest of the US national security to help Ukraine. The more they invest into the Ukraine, the less they will have invest into their own security. Because Ukraine did an amazing work in terms of dismantling Russian forces.
How has the last few weeks been in Ukraine? These devastating drone attacks from Russia. Numbers are huge. Hundreds of drones being sent across every night. High civilian death toll, damage to infrastructure, people not sleeping, having to go to bunkers. How are Ukrainians dealing with it and feeling?
We are bruised, but not broken. We are tired, but not exhausted. We have a strong will to win. And we will win, and that's the reason why we need the support of the entire free world. The mood is different, very different. But, Ukrainian people, they are very resilient. And that's the reason why I urge all our Western friends to help Ukraine and to help Ukrainian people. We deserve this help.
As you know, the courage, the resilience of Ukrainians is admired the world over with everything you're enduring. Thank you very much for taking the time. Pleasure to see you.